This episode of Penn Point starts right now. This episode of Penn Point is brought to you by Audible.com. I gotta talk to you about this book. You know, people write to me on Twitter all the time. Penn Jillette, Pennjillette, all the time asking me what book they should read about atheism. And I always answer rather, cutely that they should read the Bible. That the Bible or the Torah or the Quran will turn you atheist faster than anything if you just read it straight out without someone interpreting what it should mean, but rather just read the words, you will turn atheist. And that's all a clever little answer. And it's true. But it's not really the question they're asking. They're not asking for the answer to the Bible. And then, of course, there's my book, which will be out August 16th, maybe when this comes out, called God No, Signs You May Already Be an Atheist, and Other Magical Tales by Penn Jillette on Simon & Schuster, which I would recommend as a book about atheism that's also, I like to think, a little bit funny. And if you like Penn Point, you're gonna like that book. But the book I'm gonna recommend from now on, and it's got everything going for it. It's so short, there's no padding at all. It's short enough, it's almost epigrammatical, that you can read it and just get thoughts in your head and think more about them on your own. It just doesn't waste any of your time. You can read the whole thing in like 2 hours in the bathtub, and it's called Why We Believe in God, S. So why we believe in God, gods. A concise guide to the science of faith. And the cover is like that Eye of God picture that was all over the place. Yeah, you remember that Eye of God picture? The color, it's from the Hubble, but the coloring is all done by people afterwards, and it was just labeled the Eye of God. But it's a great cover for that, because it really does deal with that issue really well. And it's called Why We Believe in God. It's so hard to say that title. It looks great written, the parentheses S thing, but boy, is it hard to say. Why We Believe in God. A concise guide to the science of faith. It's out in paperback. It's also, I read it electronically. Richard Dawkins sent me a copy, hard copy of it, but I read it electronically, so I read it right on here. And it's available on Kindle and for iPad. It's fabulous. I mean, if you have any interest in atheism from either side, I mean, if you're a believer or you're a non-believer, this is the best book on it. I mean, I love Hitchens. God is Not Great. But I gotta tell you, I guess I like the Hitchens book a little better because I love Hitchens, I love his style of writing. But for just getting the information, this thing kicks ass. It's by J. Anderson Thompson, who goes by the name of Andy. We've been writing emails back and forth, and he's a groovy dude. And he also, with this woman, and I'll probably say her name wrong, but Claire Ockerfer, who I haven't had any contact with, but I certainly told Andy to give her every inch of my love. And the foreword is by Richard Dawkins. And the foreword is really funny, because what Richard Dawkins does in the foreword, Richard's a friend of mine, and I dig him, and he's one of my biggest heroes. As a matter of fact, I married my wife. We had our first date because she dropped Richard Dawkins' name and I hadn't met him. I mean, I just love Richard Dawkins more than anyone. But he does this great thing in the foreword that when you're writing a foreword, it's always the temptation. When you're writing a foreword to a great book, it's really a temptation to cop the coolest things from the book and put them in your foreword so you look cool for saying stuff in the book before people have read the book, because it's the foreword, so it kind of looks like you're brilliant. And of course, Richard Dawkins is brilliant, but he also, he steals like not steals, it's in the same book, but he takes like 3 of the greatest points in the book and throws them into the foreword. In other words, Dawkins doesn't add much to the book. He just talks about how great the book is, which I guess is what a foreword should do, right? Just want to make sure that's still recording. So all I want to say is, and I took a lot of notes when I read a book. I always highlight and take notes all the way through, and then I keep those in my computer and I have them here. But I'm not going to do that Richard Dawkins thing and steal stuff from it. But this is this guy Andy Thompson is a shrink. But he's like a real shrink. Like he's not like, let's just talk about your problems of bored middle class people, or upper class people. But he actually does shrink stuff on real fucking whack jobs and tries to do clinical stuff and learn about stuff. And he really applies all that stuff in our heart that makes us feel the presence of God so much. And there's wonderful science that's quoted, excuse me, wonderful science that's quoted, but more important, you have to be careful about this with a science book, is that Andy's not only, I call him Andy because now he's my friend, Andy and Claire, they don't only cite studies, and a lot of what they say is not provable. And that's important, and it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing, because it allows them to really be thinking. It's like sitting across from someone who's really, really smart and educated and well-spoken, talking about their ideas of what part of human evolved traits makes so many people believe in God. So the book is Why We Believe in God, by J. Anderson Thompson and Claire Ockefer. Hope I'm saying her name right. And really do check it out. It's really, really short, and I can't recommend it any higher. And if you're just starting to think about why people believe in God, you should check it out. It's really, really, it's really great. So check out that book. Really check it out. All the people that ask me what book should I read on atheism, I think this is now the one. Check it out. Thanks. Audible.com is the leading provider of downloadable digital audiobooks and spoken word entertainment. Audible has over 75,000 titles to choose from to be downloaded to your iPod, MP3 player, and played back anywhere, anytime. Choose from books in every genre: science fiction, thrillers, drama, comedy, business, history, and more. Go to audiblepodcast.com/penpoint to get a free audiobook download of your choice when you sign up today. Again, go to audiblepodcast.com/penpoint for your free audiobook.